All right, listeners, ready to dive into ancient Egypt. Today we're taking a deep dive into Kemet, Blood and Sand,
Oh, yeah.
a board game where you're thrown into a mythical battle to be the top god.
That's right.
So buckle up, because you're about to become an Egyptian god.
You got it. And not just any god. You get to pick who you want to be from Anubis.
Oh, wow.
Bastet, Horus, they all have their own powers and ways to play. It's not just rolling dice. You have to think ahead,
Right.
build your power, and really attack those other players.
So, like, if I'm getting this right, it's a race to be the best god in Egypt.
Basically.
What's our goal as a player?
Well, the big thing is to get the most fame points. Think of them as like how famous you are as a god, and you'll earn them through those awesome battles.
Okay.
Taking over important spots on the board and building pyramids, but watch out, your rivals are going to want to win too, so you have to be smarter than them every step of the way.
Sounds pretty intense.
Yeah.
I love it. So how does a typical game go?
Each round has 2 parts, day and night. During the day is when all the action happens. You use action tokens to do different things, like praying to get divine favor, raising pyramids, getting more troops, and of course, attacking your enemies.
So the day is for action and fighting.
Pretty much.
What happens at night?
At night, everything calms down.
Right.
You add up your rewards, your special powers activate,
Right.
and we decide who goes first in the next round. It's like regrouping and planning your next move.
Got it. I'm starting to see how this works, but let's talk more about what you do during the day phase. I need to know what kind of powers I'll have.
Yeah.
Tell me about the basics.
All right, let's start with prayer, because even gods need more power. This is how you get prayer points. They're like your main resource to do almost anything.
Makes sense. You can't build a big empire with no prayers.
Exactly. What else could you do with these prayer points you worked so hard to get?
Yeah.
Well, you could buy a power tile. They're like upgrades from the gods giving you special abilities and bonuses, but there's a catch.
Oh.
You need to have built a matching pyramid to get those really good power tiles.
Ooh, strategic already. So pyramids aren't just for looks. They help you get stronger.
Exactly.
What about building those pyramids? How does that work?
Building a pyramid is super important. Each level you build gives you perks, like more fame points, or being able to buy those awesome power tiles. They're like a symbol of your divine power and a way to scare your opponents.
Okay, I got my construction crew ready. Now I want to unleash some divine fury. How do I get a bigger army?
That's where recruit comes in. You spend those pro points to get more soldiers, but remember, you can only recruit in your own cities, so taking over more land is key to having a really powerful army.
Right. Got to secure those recruiting grounds.
Exactly.
Once I have my legions, it's time to take the fight to the enemy. Right.
You got it. Move is what lets you march your troops across the board. Where you put them is super important. You want to take over key spots, block your opponents, and of course get ready for big battles.
Speaking of battles, those have got to be the most exciting part. How do they work?
Battles happen when your troops and your opponent's troops are in the same space, but it's not just about being strong. You'll use battle cards to change how the battle goes. You pick cards in secret that make your army stronger, give them special abilities, or even add crazy twists to the fight.
So there's like bluffing and planning even during the battle. This is getting good, but before we go too deep into that, tell me more about those battle cards. What can they do?
Okay, but get ready, because this is where Kemet, Blood and Sand, really gets interesting.
I'm ready. Let's hear it.
Battle cards are like having all these godly weapons. Some cards make your army stronger, so you can crush your opponent.
Right.
Others give you special powers, like healing your troops right in the middle of a battle, or even summoning a mythical creature to fight with you.
Hold on. Summon creatures. You mean like giant scorpions or sphinxes?
Exactly.
Now you're talking.
Oh, you haven't seen anything yet. Some creatures make your troops even stronger. Others have unique powers that can completely turn things around. Imagine teleporting your troops behind enemy lines or doing an attack that hits everything.
Okay, this gives me major Clash of the Titans vibes. This is awesome. But hold on, you said something about different types of damage. What's that all about?
You're picking things up quickly. There's regular damage, which your opponent can try to block with their defense.
Okay.
But then there's unblockable damage that's way more intense.
So even if my opponent has good defense, some attacks just go right through them.
Yep.
Sounds brutal.
It can definitely change the game. Knowing when to use a card with unblockable damage can decide if you win or lose, especially when your opponent is already weak.
Man, this game is so strategic.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see why people love Kemet, Blood and Sand so much.
It really makes you plan carefully and think tactically, but it can also surprise you. Those divine intervention cards we talked about,
Right.
they can really shake things up.
Yeah, the wild cards remind me how those work again. What kind of crazy things can they do?
Imagine you draw a card that lets you steal prayer points from your opponent,
Ooh, sneaky.
or one that lets you move a pyramid to a different district.
Wow.
They're unpredictable, powerful, and can totally change who's winning.
I see why you call them divine intervention. It's like the gods are messing with us. I bet those cards lead to some wild moments.
Oh, for sure. I've seen players who were about to lose completely turn things around with a divine intervention card, and sometimes it's just pure chaos. Everyone's trying to figure out what to do.
Sounds like it keeps things interesting. Every game is different. But before we get lost in all the divine craziness, let's go back to those basic actions we talked about. Pray, buy a power tile, raise a pyramid. What else can you do during your turn?
Well, once you've built up your army, you want to get them in the right spots. Move lets you move your troops across the board, taking over areas, blocking your opponents, and setting up those big battles.
So it's like a big game of military chess. Every move counts.
Yeah.
But you said earlier that there's more to moving than just marching your troops. What was that about teleportation?
Ah, yes, teleportation is one of the coolest things in Kemet. Blood and sand. If you've built a pyramid in an area, you can use it to teleport one of your troops to any space on the board that has an obelisk.
Wait, I can just instantly move my troops across the whole map?
Yep.
That's crazy powerful.
It is. It can completely change the game. You can outsmart your opponents, get troops to a place that's under attack, or even surprise attack from somewhere they don't expect.
It's incredible. I'm really starting to see how strategic this game is. Every decision affects everything else.
Exactly. It makes you think ahead, but it also lets you change your plan if you need to. You never know what your opponents will do or what divine intervention cards will show up.
Okay, so we've talked about moving battles and those divine intervention cards, but there's one more action we haven't talked about much. Recruit. We touched on it before, but let's go a little deeper.
Getting new troops is super important to keep your army strong. You use those prayer points, you got to add more soldiers, but remember, you can only recruit in your own city. That's why controlling more areas is so important. It gives you more places to build your army.
So expanding my city isn't just about getting resources or points, it's also about having more places to get troops.
Right.
I like it. It's like a constant back and forth between making yourself stronger and attacking your rivals.
That's a great way to put it, Kemet. Blood and sand keeps you on your toes. You're always thinking about your choices, balancing attacking and defending, and trying to guess what your opponents will do next.
Speaking of guessing, you mentioned that the night phase changes things up. What exactly happens during that time between all the battles?
The night phase is super important for getting ready for the next round. It's when you count your rewards, your special powers activate, and we figure out who goes first the next day.
So it's not just a break for the gods. There are still important decisions to make.
Absolutely. The night phase is full of chances to get ahead. For example, if you control the Sanctuary of All Gods, you can sacrifice 2 of your units to get a divine fame point.
Ooh, tough choice. Do I keep my army strong or give up some troops for a special point?
Exactly. And if you control the Delta Temple, you get 5 prayer points.
5.
That can really help you out.
5 prayer points that could totally change things in the next round. Are there any other benefits to controlling temples?
Definitely. Controlling temples can give you extra prayer points, fame points, and even special powers. It's a constant fight for control because those temples are so powerful.
So it's not just about conquering land, it's about controlling those special spots that give you an advantage. This game is so interesting.
And we haven't even talked about one of the most strategic parts of the night phase, veteran tokens.
Right, those little rewards you get from winning battles. What's so special about them?
Those veteran tokens show how experienced your troops are from fighting, and they're more useful than they might seem. You can use them to get more prayer points, draw extra divine intervention cards, or even recruit more troops during the night phase.
Wow, so they're like little power-ups you can save and use strategically.
Exactly. Deciding when to use your veteran tokens is a big part of being good at Kemet. Blood and sand, do you use them right away for a quick boost, or save them for a really important moment later?
This game is all about making tough choices. Every decision has risks and rewards. I'm starting to feel the pressure of being a god.
That's part of the fun, Kemet. Blood and sand puts you in charge like an Egyptian god, and those gods didn't become powerful by playing it safe.
Okay, I'm ready for the challenge. But before we finish, I want to hear more about those veteran tokens. You said they can be used for more than just prayer points.
That's right. You can also spend veteran tokens to get more divine intervention cards during the night phase.
So if I'm feeling lucky, I could use some veteran tokens and hope for a really good card.
Exactly.
I like it, adds a little risk.
And if you really need more troops, you can even use veteran tokens to recruit more during the night phase.
Wait, so I can get more soldiers even when it's not my turn?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's risky because it uses up your veteran tokens, but it can save you if you're in trouble.
This game is full of surprises. Every little detail seems to give players choices and ways to be strategic. But let's step back for a second. We've talked about a lot, the story, the basic rules, the different parts of the game. What would you say is the best thing about Kemet? Blood and Sand, what makes it so fun?
For me, it's the perfect mix of strategy, excitement, and feeling like you're in an epic story. You're not just moving pieces on a board, you're leading armies, summoning creatures, and deciding the fate of ancient Egypt.
It's like a giant interactive myth where every choice you make changes the story.
Exactly. And the game is always changing. With each expansion, they add new gobs, new power tiles, and the strategy changes in ways you don't expect.
So it's a game that you can keep playing and still discover new things.
Absolutely, Kemet. Blood and Sand gets better the more you play it, but it's also easy to learn for new players because the rules are clear and the gameplay makes sense.
Okay, I'm convinced I need to play this game. But before we end this deep dive, I have one last question. Go ahead.
What advice would you give to someone playing Kemet? Blood and Sand for the first time? What are the most important things to remember as they try to become the top god?
That's a good question. I'd say don't let the game scare you at first.
No.
There's a lot going on in Kemet, Blood and Sand, but the basic stuff is actually pretty easy.
So don't let all the cool gods and creatures distract me from the simple things.
Exactly. Focus on getting good at those main actions we talked about. Pray, buy a power tile, raise pyramid, move, and recruit. Once you know those well, the rest will make more sense.
Okay, that makes sense. Start simple, then get fancier. What else should a new player remember?
I'd say the next most important thing is to pick a god that you like to play with. Do you like to attack all the time? Then Horus might be good for you. Are you more into defending and waiting for the perfect time to attack? Then Bastet might be your best choice.
So take some time to learn about the different gods and their special powers before I start a game.
Exactly. It's like choosing your character in a video game. The god you pick will change how you play the whole game.
All right, I'm listening. Pick a god that I connect with. Master the basic actions. Don't get overwhelmed. Any other advice for a beginner like me?
One thing new players often mess up is prayer points. Those points are like your money in Kemet. Blood and Sand, you need them for everything.
So don't be afraid to spend a few turns at the beginning just getting more prayer points.
Exactly. Having a good supply of prayer points is how you build a powerful empire, even a godly one.
I like that. Okay, what about those pyramids? They seem like a big investment. But we've talked about how important they are for getting power tiles and teleporting. Any tips for building pyramids?
Don't put all your resources into one pyramid at the beginning. Try to build each of your pyramids up to at least level 2. That way you'll have more choices for power tiles and you'll be able to change your strategy more easily.
Just spread the love.
Exactly. Once you have a good base, then you can focus on certain pyramids to get those high-level power tiles that fit your plan.
Okay, that makes sense. Be flexible at first, then get more specific later. Got it. Any last words of wisdom for someone who's about to play Kemet, Blood and Sand for the first time?
The most important thing is to remember that Kemet, Blood and Sand is just a game. It's supposed to be fun.
Right.
Don't get too serious. Try different things and enjoy the experience.
I love that. Embrace the chaos, have fun.
Yeah.
This deep dive has been amazing. I feel like I've not only learned the rules, but I've also gotten a real feel for how strategic the game is and how epic it can be.
I'm glad to hear it, Kemet. Blood and Sand is one of those games that gets better the more you play it. The more you play, the more you discover, and the more strategic options you find.
I'm already planning my first game night. I can't wait to pick my god, build my pyramids, and unleash my divine power on my friends.
May the best god win.
And that brings us to the end of our deep dive, listeners. If you're looking for a board game that will challenge you and give you a lot of satisfaction, Kemet, Blood and Sand is definitely worth trying. It'll take you to ancient Egypt, where you can experience the excitement of being a powerful god. Gather your friends, choose your gods, and get ready for an epic battle to rule it all.
In shifting grains beneath my feet, your armies rise to greet defeat. The sun burns fierce, you feel my heat. Bow down or face retreat. Watch as I command the wind. Let destruction now begin. Your cry shelter here to hide. Kemet, blood and sand, it cries, I am the force where your empire dies. Blood and sand defies on burning sands. Your fate now lies. Your weapons break like brittle bone as darkness claims your earthly throne. My ravens circle overhead. Your destiny I've read. Kemet, Naru, Sekhem, Wajet, listen close as thunder rolls across the plain. Your temples crumble, nothing mortal can remain. I slice the air with lightning strikes and pain, while desert winds erase your name in vain. Your army scattered like seeds in the breeze, on their knees, begging mercy please. But I'm the force of nature you can't appease. Your dynasty falls with such terrible ease. Kemet, Kemet, it cries, I am the force where your empire dies. Blood and sand defies on burning sands. Your fate now lies. Your kingdom falls today.